Mm-hmm. Let's look into some dating horror stories, shall we?
Chad was my very first Hinge date ever. Like, I had just graduated college and I moved to Seattle, and I was so excited to get started, get on the apps. Big city dating, big city living. Let's
Big
do it. Let's go.
city life,
So I matched
girl.
with
Big city
Chad
life.
and we started chatting. He asked me out on a date. First date was
Mm-hmm.
Friday. It was on like a random Friday
Okay.
in June. I had just moved to Seattle like earlier that week. So
Mm-hmm.
he picks me up. Don't do that. Go out to dinner. The date's
Yeah, don't
going
do that. Not
well.
on a
We end
first
up
date.
going to go
Never
get
do that.
drinks afterward because it's like going that well. Like, we have a lot to talk about. He's a nice guy. Like, it's just really going well. So he drops me off, and within 30 minutes, he texts me and he's like, "That was a really great date. Like, I had so much fun. Like, when can I see you again? Like, I want to show you around Seattle. I have
Okay,
so many
usually
spots that
that's
I
a
want
good
to show
sign,
you, so
right?
many
Usually
restaurants
that's a
that I
good
want to take
sign.
you to. Like, when can I see you next?" And I was like, so exciting. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm free Sunday, 2 days after our first date. So he says, great. I want to show you around this area in Seattle called Green Lake. So Sunday rolls around. He picks me up. We drive to Green Lake. We get coffee. I also told him that I love lattes and like coffee and stuff. So
Okay.
he was like, okay, we're going to go get coffees and then we're going to walk around Green Lake. So we did that, and again, it was a great little afternoon date. We had a lot to talk about, like vibing, like everything was going great. Again, he drops me off, and within 30 minutes of dropping me off, like, this man must have dropped me off, driven home, gotten into his apartment, and texted me. Like, it was that quick. He texts me and he's like, "I had such a great time. You know, again, I want to see you. Like, this was so much fun. Like, when can I see you again? I want to plan a really fun date for us this week." And I was like, "Ooh, so exciting. I'm free on Thursday." So this was on Sunday.
Okay.
Throughout Sunday through Thursday, we're
So,
like texting,
what's
not
wrong?
like
That
rapid
seems like a good
fire,
thing,
but
doesn't
a
it?
little bit back and forth. I had just started my
And that's
new
usually what we
job, so he was
want.
like asking me how my job was going, like all this stuff. Thursday rolls around. Again, he picks me up. We drive to his apartment. And I had
Mm-hmm.
told him that one of my favorite foods was pad thai. Plan for our date was to go to his apartment. He was going to make me pad thai from scratch. He also
Okay.
ordered some on Uber Eats to be delivered at his apartment for us to eat in case his wasn't good. His was fine to eat. It was good.
That's
So he ended
cute.
up sending me home with the Uber Eats so I could like eat it for lunch the next day. While all that was going on, he also had set up a little like paint and sip inside his apartment. So he had
Mm-hmm.
gotten wine and like gotten painting
Well,
materials and
that's
painting
cute.
supplies. So while he was like cooking the pad thai, like I was painting and sipping, and then like he joined me, and I think we like watched a movie and stuff. Like, I remember calling my mom either later that day or the next day and telling her about
Okay.
this, and she was like, "What? Like, I no one ever planned a paint and sip like pad thai from scratch date for me." And I was like, "No, I know this is
Not for
crazy.
me
Like,
either.
I'm feeling
I've
so
never had the
pampered."
pleasure.
Everything up until this point was so thoughtful and so like meticulously thought out with like what I wanted and my preferences and my likes in mind. And so I was like, this is going so well. Like, I don't know why people say that dating is on the apps is so hard. Like, this is amazing. After the date on Thursday, he didn't text me.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, that's weird. And then it was Friday morning, Friday afternoon. Still hadn't
This is
texted
where
me.
it
So I reached
starts
out
to
to
get
him.
ugly.
And oh, also, as he was driving me home from our date on Thursday, I told him that I was going to a Mariners game on that Friday night with some friends. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going with some of my coworkers. Like, I'll see you there." So I reach out to him and I'm like, "Hey, like, excited for the Mariners game." And we had talked about like, "Oh, let's coordinate. Like, let's meet up at the game, like either there or,
Okay.
you know, whatnot. We'll see each other there." I text him in the afternoon. I'm like, "Hey, like, what's up? Like, excited for the game. Like, excited to see you." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah." And his responses were very different energy from before. So I was like, okay, like maybe he's just busy with work or something. Like, it's a Friday afternoon. Like,
No,
maybe
girl,
he's
it's because you
slammed. I
called
don't
your
know.
mom.
So I text him again and I'm just like, "Hey, like, I'm here. Like, this is the section I'm sitting in with my friends." And I like don't hear from him for the entire game.
Oh, wow.
My friends and I end up going out after, and I get a text from him and he's like, "Oh, hey, like, sorry I missed this, like, yada yada. Like, I'm out, like, where are you and your friends?" So I respond and I tell him where we're out, and he ends up meeting me, and we just like hang out for the night. It was great. The energy shift from a few days slash the week before to what I felt the day of the Mariners game, I was like, this is different. Like, something's up. So don't hear from him all weekend. Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Sunday, nothing. Monday, I think it's like
Okay.
Monday afternoon. Still haven't heard anything. I'm like, this is weird. So I text him and I'm like, hey, like, how was your weekend? He's just like, oh, sorry. Like, I got really carried away and like really busy with studying for this exam that he had to take for his job. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, no worries. Um, like, when are we going to see each other again? He was like, he said something about like me planning the next date. And I was like, yeah, totally fair. Like, you've put in so much effort and like thought into
I
planning
guess
these
that's
last few dates. Like,
fair. Yeah, I guess that's
let
fair.
me take the load off and let me plan. I like planned a date. It wasn't anything crazy. I think it was just like get like a picnic. Like, I had no idea what to do because again, I had just moved. 30 minutes before I'm supposed to leave, he
Oh
texted
my
me and he's like,
gosh.
hey, like, I'm so sorry. I'm like
Oh,
slammed with work. Like,
oh my
I can't get
gosh.
away for the night. And I respond and I'm like, oh, like, that's okay. No worries. Like, I totally get it. And he never responds. He never
Wow.
follows up to ask to
Wow. That's crazy.
reschedule ever. Like, my text was the last text and he never responds again.
Girl, he
So that
done
was in
left you on
June.
red.
Fast forward July, August, September. I move into a new apartment. My life is carried on. I go on lots more dates. October rolls around. Halloween weekend. I think in this year, Halloween landed on a Saturday night. So I was out with my friends on a Saturday. It was like late at night. It was like 11 or 12 p.m. I get a text from an unsaved number that reads, hey, what are you up to tonight? And I'm like,
Huh?
huh? Like, who could that be? Like, who would be asking me what I'm up to tonight where I don't have their number saved? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm very meticulous about like saving people's numbers. Like, if I've had a conversation with you and you text me, like, I have your contact saved. And again, I'm out with my friends and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like,
It's
I'm
always when
not
you're
gonna
out with your
respond because
friends.
what if it's
It's
like a spam
always
number
when
or
you're trying
something?
to enjoy your
And when I get
life.
home, I'll check on my laptop who this text is from. So get home a couple hours later, open my laptop, and it's Chad. He has come back around and he has asked me what I'm up to Halloween weekend. What would that be? No, 4 months later. 4 months later. Haven't heard a peep from him since he canceled our date 4 months ago. I'm taken aback. I'm like, what? How does this guy not text me, not make an effort to reschedule, and then text me 4 months later on Halloween weekend, like what my plans are?
Girl, no.
No.
Don't
Uh
even
uh
reply to
No,
him.
no, 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 no. So I don't respond. That was my first Hinge experience ever in my whole life. So learned a lot from that. Thank you, Chad. And I hope he's out there doing well. I actually did run into him like a couple years, maybe like a year later. And I think we like waved at each other or something. And I was just like, oh my God.
That is user Tatum Johnson 78 on TikTok, and she just talked about how she went on this date with this guy, and at first it was great. He was treating her so well, planning really nice dates, and then all of a sudden he kind of starts to give nothing back, like zero energy is what I'm saying. And the energy starts to shift in this, you know, in their conversations. And so she starts to wonder, like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I've just been busy. Let me get back to you. And then she asks him, like, when are we going to see each other again? And he's like, okay, we'll do it soon, but why don't you plan the date? And she's like, fine, yeah, that's cool. She plans the date and everything. And on the day of the date, he texts her saying, well, I can't make it. And so unfortunately, he doesn't make it. And time passes. They don't really hear from each other. She texts him back. He pretty much left her on red, does not reply to her, she doesn't hear from him. Life moves on. She goes on different dates and whatnot. And then the weekend of Halloween of that same time, same year, he gets a text. No, she gets a text, sorry. She gets a text from him asking, hey, what are you up to? And since it's been so long, she's like, I don't know who this is. I don't know who you are. Who could be asking me, like, what am I up to? And she states that she knows everybody that she talks to, through messaging or on the phone or whatever. She tends to save their contacts, so she's wondering who it is. And it's the guy named Chad. Or I did mention his name in the first. He's contacting her, asking her what she's up to for the weekend. And she's like, no, honey. And so a lot of the comments are speculating that he probably had somebody else during that time and that they didn't work out either. And so now that he's alone, he's probably like, let me go through my roster and see who's available, which is so disgusting. Like, why can't you just stick to one person? I mean, it's not bad to have options, right? But when it gets to the point where you can't even like keep up with people and you don't give a person the chance, then you stop talking to said person and then you move on to somebody else because you're vibing with them. Then you forget the other person. And then once that doesn't work out with the person you thought you wanted to be with, you jump back to the other person. Like, why does it have to be that way? Why can't people just be honest is what I'm wondering. And then also a lot of people were saying that his dates were love bombing considering that he had put so much effort into their dates, like doing a little wine and sip and cooking for her, like putting all this time and dedication to their dates. Overall, don't be a Chad. Just tell people that you don't want to see them anymore and move on.
When I was like 19, I met this guy and we started dating until I was about like, I want to say like 24. He ended up
Oh,
cheating
that's a
on
long
me
time.
and then dated the girl like literally the day after we broke up. Like they had already planned it. She broke up with her boyfriend and like they were just going to be together now. And then he proposed about like 5 or 6 months later in the same spot that we had our first year anniversary and clothes that I actually bought him. And I've tried
Ew,
making videos about him before, and his
that's
family
gross.
somehow finds it and always sends me scathing DMs being like, we're going to sue you. This is defamation. This is
How
slander.
is
This
that
is truly it.
defamation?
And also, I didn't even mention
If
him.
it actually
Like,
happened,
you
how is
would
she
never be
lying
able
about
to
her,
know who I was
about his
talking about
character?
by this conversation. And after the day that we broke up, I have not seen him since until I was sitting in a bar after a shoot one time. And I was like, I'm going to go get some food at this bar because I want to wait out traffic. And they come walking by, and I look at them, and my first reaction was to go, and then that was like the best reaction I
Deserved,
probably could have
deserved.
ever had because if I had thought about it, I probably would have spit in their faces. But I think they wanted me to be like, oh my God, like that's so embarrassing. But instead, I just basically was like, you're fucking funny. And now they're married and doing what God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't hang out with people that hang out with them anymore. But I saw a proposal and it reminded me of that.
Now that was Hannah Rose on TikTok, and she basically is talking about how at what point in her life when she was 19, she dated this one guy up until I think she says they were 24, and he then goes on to cheat on her. But not only did that happen, he ended up getting together with some other person literally like right after they had called it off. And the crazy part is that they had already planned it. Like he was going to break up with her and she was going to break up with him.
Later.
So right off the bat, that already makes them crappy people. But to make matters worse, he ends up proposing to her, not only proposing to her, but proposing to this new other girl that he cheated with. Um, he ends up proposing to her in the same place that they had their 1 year anniversary when they first got together, and the clothes that Hannah bought him. And then she goes on to say that she's tried making videos of him before and that his family somehow finds them and they try like telling her like, hey, this is defamation of character, which is funny. Like I said earlier, like I don't understand how this defamation of character if that's something that he actually did, and if she wants to talk about her experience, then let her. Like, damn, like, wow. And so she says that after they broke up, she never saw him again, but that at one point she was sitting at a bar and that she ends up seeing them walk in, and that I guess they were expecting her to have like this negative reaction, and instead she's like, "No, babe," and she starts laughing in their face, which same. And so yeah, she pretty much laughed in their face, which is understandable. And she says that she says, I guess they were expecting me to be like, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing, but girl, come on. If you want to laugh about it, then laugh about it. But then she states that apparently they're married now, and that she doesn't know anything about them, and that she doesn't keep up with the friends that they both used to have when they were in a relationship. Which, good for you, girly, good for you. Don't keep up with anything like that. If he cheated on you, what are the chances that he's probably going to cheat on her too? So misery loves company, okay? So this user, Dana Baker, on TikTok had posted a video. I think it was like her Ring camera, I think, of her being outside her best friend's house, and then I guess calling them and be like, open the door. And so yeah, she ends up at her best friend's house because she says that her date was so bad that she just asked the guy to leave her at her friend's house. So then someone in the comments says, please don't take forever to update us. You got to tell us everything. But first, I want to show you the video that she posted the first time around of what, like, I guess it's like a Ring camera.
Come to your front door right now. Yes, I'm literally get Chris.
And so this is a video where she starts to tell her story about what happened that night.
So a little background, I had been texting this kid for about like 2 weeks. He liked my mutual, and I looked at him and I go, oh my gosh, I know who this person is. Because he was 2 years older.
It's always
than
somebody
me
you
in
know,
high school.
right?
And like he hung around with my older brother's kind of friend group, so I knew who he was a little bit. So I was just like, oh my gosh, what are the chances? Like, anyways, we start talking on mutual, then he asks for my number, and he's from where I'm from. He graduated 2 years before me in high school, but now he no longer lives in Utah. But I was just like, what are the chances? Like, this is crazy. Find out he didn't live very far from me. Just a lot of like crazy connections. So at this point, I'm getting like really excited because I'm like, there's no way this is working out so well. I'm like he just seems very accomplished, like a really cool guy. Like, this would just be crazy if this turned into something. Basically, I was just like getting ahead of myself way too soon, which is something I'm very good at. So he picks me
Same,
up,
girl.
and he's super nice. Like, he gives me a big hug. Like, he's super cool. It seems like a little awkward, but not like in a bad way. Like, the conversation felt super comfortable to me. And like I said, I've been talking to this kid for 2 weeks. So we get ice cream. We stay there for 2 hours talking. And it's a pretty good like conversation. Like, it never kind of fell into that awkward pause. I felt really good about it, but I was like, I'm only feeling like a friendly vibe. I'm not feeling anything more. Like, I'm not interested in that way.
No.
But, you know, like, let's just see
girl,
what happens.
no.
Like, I'm just enjoying talking to him. He seems super, super cool.
Never give him the benefit of the doubt.
We leave, we walk out of the ice cream place. And he opens my door for me. I'm like, okay, thank you. And like, I buckle my seatbelt, okay? I buckle my seatbelt, like thinking, oh, we're just gonna drive. He's gonna take me home. We've been chatting for a while. He gets in his car and just reaches over and just looks at me and pulls me into the biggest bear hug. And I'm like, oh, like, okay. So I just like hug him. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. Like, whatever. Pulls away. I sit back down, like, expecting us to drive. Pulls me back into him. But, like, mind you, I have my seatbelt on, so it's very awkward. And also, for context, he drives a Mini Cooper.
Oh, girl, not the
drives a
Mini
He's
Cooper.
probably like 6'2". He's not a small guy. And so I'm like, this is just very awkward. So like he pushes me back in my seat, unbuckles my seatbelt, and like pulls me on top of him. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, like, what is going on? So I'm like practically like on top of him in this car, and he's just holding me. And I go, are you
Without your
okay?
consent?
And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing good. I was like, okay. I said, you a big physical touch person? And he's like, yeah, I am. I go, okay, well, I'm not. Like, I am not a physical touch PDA person. Like, this doesn't work for me. Thinking he'd kind of like get the hint and let me go. He didn't let me go.
Of course,
And
of
I
course.
genuinely was just like, what the hell? This is so weird. So I was just like, okay, he's got to let me go eventually. So he like let me go. And I was like, hey, can you turn the car on? I'm like sweating. It's really hot. He turns his car on. I sit back down in my seat, figuring we're going to drive away. I put my seatbelt on. He drives like farther into the parking lot, like in a darker spot of the parking lot, so that no one can see us. And I'm like, what? Mind you, this is all happening like relatively quickly. So I don't know what
Ooh.
my brain, I think I was just like, what the hell am I supposed to do at this moment? He pulls over, he parks, he unbuckles my seatbelt again and like pulls me on top of him again. Like my face is like right here and he looks at me like as he's like holding me, he's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna kiss you. And I go, good, I don't kiss people on the first date. Like at this point, I'm just like, what the hell is happening? And so like he like puts his head in my neck and I'm like, ugh, I'm really like not vibing with this, but I don't know what to do. So then he kind of like puts me
You
back
run
in my
away,
seat,
girl. You run
and I'm like
away.
kind of leaning against the door, so my body's like half laying down. And he like grabs my stomach and he goes, are you ticklish? And I'm like, kinda. And he starts tickling me. Not like a scratch, like aggressively trying to tickle me. And I'm sitting there going, hey, like stop. And I'm like starting to laugh because I'm like, what the hell do I do? I start laughing and I'm like, hey, please stop. Stop. And he didn't stop.
Oh
And I'm like,
no.
dude, get off me. Like, what is going on? And so I was like, hey, stop. And he's like, okay, sorry. And he lays back on top of me. And I'm LDS or Mormon. And I have been through the temple before. So that means I wear something that some people don't.
Oh,
He
okay.
reached under my shirt and pulled my garments out of my pants, and like so he could touch my back. And for me, that was like very like the thing that got me the most. I'm like,
A
what the hell are you
girl,
doing?
I would
That
have
is so
ran
inappropriate.
away.
And like laying on top of me, and like he's grabbing my stomach, and so I'm like sticking my stomach out, trying to be like, why are you grabbing my belly fat? Like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, hey, I'm like trying to talk to you and you're not listening to me. And at this point, I was genuinely just like, I was already uncomfortable, but at this point I was like, I want to get out of this car.
I would
And
too,
so
girl.
I was like, hey, I'm trying to talk to you. He goes, oh, sorry, like backs off. And then he pulls me into his lap. So like my torso is laying on his lap. He puts his arms around me and puts my like legs against the door of like his car. And he's like, what were you trying to tell me? And I'm like my dumb ass. I was trying to tell you about hockey because hockey is one of my things. Like I love talking about it. He's like, okay, tell me about it. And I'm like, well, do you want to hear like the statistics or like how the game's played? Like, what do you want to know?
Oh, you
I just
poor
was so,
girl.
I'm a very confident person. I'm not frazzled easily. I was like, I don't know what to effing say. And he's like, just tell me whatever you want to tell me. And then like, as I'm like talking, he slowly like gets ready to drive away. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm going to lose my mind. I buckle up. I'm sitting in the car. I'm kind of turned away from him a little bit more. And like he had his like arm on me like while we were driving, and then the conversation on the way back was fine. So it's like he's really really cool in that aspect. But I was like, what made you think it was appropriate to just throw a girl around like a rag doll in your car on the first date and then look her dead in the eye and be like, don't worry, I'm not gonna kiss you. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kiss you.
But yeah,
But
you go and try
tickling
to
me, like
tickle
putting his hand
her.
up my
Yeah,
back,
exactly.
like
Exactly.
it was so weird.
Girl,
And
no.
I was like genuinely just like, I can't do this ever again.
That's so
So we pull
crazy.
up to my house and I live with my parents. And like I look at my house and I just go, I cannot look at my parents right now and tell them what just happened. Because this is like the weirdest experience I've ever had on a date. I've had some weird stuff. This was the
Girl, you
weirdest
could have
thing.
just told him,
So
like,
I
oh,
look
it
at my
just
phone and I go, oh my
didn't
gosh,
go
my
well.
friend texted me. She needs me to go check on her dogs. Mind you, my best friend lives 2 blocks down the street. She doesn't have any dogs.
Thank
He
God for
doesn't
best
have dogs.
friends.
And I said, can you drop me off there? And he's like, well, yeah, how are you going to get back? I was like, I'll walk. I go walking every night anyways. Like, it's only 2 blocks away. Just take me there. I got to go take care of her dogs. He's like, okay, yeah. So he drops me off in the front of the house. And he's like, can I come with you? And I go, boo, no, like they have a security camera. They won't want to, I can't just bring somebody in. He goes, oh yeah, I totally get it. And as like I'm ready to get out of the car, I look at him and I go, hey, by the way, I really don't like texting. So like, don't text me. Like, I'm not a big texter. I'm just like, it's not my thing. He goes, okay, yeah, like I totally get it. And then like he gets
Slick,
out of the car, he's like,
slick.
"It's so good to meet you," and I'm like, "Yeah, like see you later, have a great night." And at this point,
Bye.
I start
Don't
walking
ever
up to my
talk to me
best friend's house, and I'm like,
again.
"Oh my gosh, please pull away, please pull away." He's not pulling away, and I'm like, "Shit!" Like I didn't text her and tell her I'm here. It's like I'll go around the back to their back gate and sneak in their backyard. Her parents are probably gonna be like, "What the hell?" But I was like, "I'm gonna go sneak in the backyard," and he happened to pull away as I started like walking to the back gate. And once I saw that he pulled away, I was like, oh, thank God. And I called her. That's what I'm saying. That's what the Ring camera caught. I'm like, come to your front door right now. And she goes, are you outside my house? And I go, yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm outside
Come
your
on,
house.
open the
And
door.
I said,
Please
get
hurry.
Chris. Chris is her mom, who I've known my whole life. Love Chris. She's a queen. But that's why I said, get your mom on the video, because I just figured people would be like, who's Chris? So anyways, I walked into her parents' house, and I was like, what the fuck just happened to me? I go up to her mother's room. I like reenact the entire thing for my best friend and her mom. And they're sitting there like, you're so full of it. And I go, I am not. I know I'm a dramatic person, but I am not a liar. I cannot make this shit up. Like, there's no way. And sure enough, he texted me later that night asking, like, thanks for going out. Sorry if that thing in the car got weird. And I texted him. I said,
Sir, the
I
whole
had fun
thing was
talking to you.
weird.
Yeah, that was very uncomfortable. I don't think you meant anything bad by it, but just don't ever do that again. And it's been a whole day later, and he's been texting me, blowing up my phone, saying he's so sorry. And all I said was, thanks for your apology. And that's it. But he's still been like blowing up my phone. So I'm never going on a date again. And like, I just can't. I can't even handle like this situation. So anyways, I'm gonna die alone, is what I'm convinced.
Okay, well, what the hell was that? This poor girl, I feel so bad for her. And I understand her at the same time because I know what it's like to meet someone and be like all excited about it and then think, oh my gosh, this is too good to be true. And 99% of the time, girl, it is too good to be true. She had just, I guess, to recap her entire story, she basically tells us that she went on this date with this one guy who she had known from some time back. He seems like a great guy, she's really excited about it. He asked her out on a date and she's like, yeah, sure. And so they decide to meet up. He picks her up, which is already like, girl, no, don't do that. It's like, can we start normalizing not having our dates pick us up on a first date? Because it just leads to circumstances like these where it's kind of impossible to get out when something like this happens. Anywho, as soon as they start their date, they're in the car. He takes her to some random place where he can park the car, which is already like, girl, second red flag right there. He starts getting real touchy with her, and things start to kind of get weird. And she's like, no, like, I'm not into PDA. I don't like to be touched. I'm not a big toucher. But obviously, this guy does not respect boundaries. And he starts like moving her in weird positions in the car. And poor girl, like, she had already told him the first time that she wasn't comfortable with it. And yet he keeps doing it. But the craziest part of this is how he starts to do things to her, as in like pick up part of her shirt and starts tickling her. Like, that was the creepiest part of this entire story, I think. Because why would you want to do that on a first date, honey? Why? That's insane. Like, keep your hands to yourself. Learn how to be respectful. Learn how to, stop when somebody says stop. Don't keep doing what you're doing. I feel so bad for this girl. And then towards the end, she's like, I'm going to die alone. Like, no, honey, no. Just live your life. Enjoy being single. I know this is so cliche, but the right person will come, okay? So the lesson here is don't reply to text messages from random numbers, even if they stopped talking to you a long time ago. And don't freaking tickle people. Keep your hands to yourself.